Haven't tried this, you've no idea what it's going to be like, and you're just going to go out there on Saturday evening and have a go.
The chances are you're going to end up in the hospital.
It's a chance I'll take. Aren't you a nutter?
No. I do stunts every day of my life, and the last 11 years I've not had one accident, so I think that's a good track record. We're coming down from approximately 60 feet, which is the very top of the ramp, down to about 20 feet, which is the other bottom of the takeoff ramp, clearing 40 feet distance, and landing on the other ramp, which is approximately 16 feet.
What speed do you reckon you'll have to achieve to be able to clear it?
We're hitting 60 feet, 60 miles an hour. That's moving at 88 feet per second.
So you've never actually done anything like this before?
Never in the world. It's never been done.
But haven't you had a go on a mini ramp or anything just to have a practice?
No, not at all.
With a crowd of 5,000 at the Long Eaton Stadium, the stuntman decided to go ahead. In the heavy rain and winds at gale force, I asked him why.
Because I've been planning it for 4 years. I thought about it 4 years ago, training for 4 years.
The chances are you're going to end up in the hospital.
It's a chance I'll take. The weather conditions are very windy up here. A bit frightened, but confident so far.
I thought you'd have waited till Tuesday myself and done it then.
Why Tuesday?
Well, there's another meeting, isn't there? Weather might have abated then.
If I get halfway down, I slim. It's rough down there.
I hope I don't just shoot off the side. No, you no chance of that, man. You stay centred.
Don't look like safe to me. Can you get me to hammer that down somehow?
A hospital check later revealed a fractured femur and a dislocation to his spine. But with the adrenaline and the excitement still pumping, Steve insisted on a final wave to the crowd.
If Barry had done that, he'd have had an epileptic seizure out of shock and would probably have just fallen down. You know, he was not capable of doing such a thing.
Do you know the difference between a blank firing gun and a replica gun?
Not in detail, no.
Do you know in any way the difference?
I believe that, well, no, to be truthful.
First, any other guns other than the two you've just mentioned to me?
Just the two I just mentioned, sir.
I think you're lying, Mr. George. Is there a reason?
To my knowledge, that is the only two that I purchased, sir.
Seems to me, Mr. George, you certainly possessed at least two weapons, two firearms, if not three, whether they be replica, blank firing, or imitation firearms. That's right, isn't it? At least two, if not three. Is that right, Mr. George?
Only those two, sir.
Did you kill Jill Dando?
No, sir.
You obviously had firearm ammunition to use in your blank firing gun, as we've discussed. Is that correct, Mr. George?
They were just capsules, sir. But as I said, go bang, and that's all they do.
But if you put a bullet on the end of that capsule and put it in a gun that could fire with a smooth barrel,
It couldn't do nothing, so it would blow up in your own face, because obviously nothing can get out of the end.
So since that time, when you used that firearm to shoot your blank weapon, blank ammunition, have you ever bought or possessed any other firearm ammunition?
No, sir.
Did you kill Jill Dando?
No, sir.
The person who killed Miss Dando was seen leaving the area. He was wearing a dark 3/4 length coat. You have stated in interview that on that day you may have been wearing a 3/4 length coat. Was that you leaving the scene of the crime, Mr. George?
All casual appearances.
Exactly. Was that you leaving the scene of the crime, Mr. George?
No, sir.
Your 3/4 length coat was taken from your flat on search by the police.
Sir.
That coat has also been examined by a firearms expert, firearms laboratory. Did you kill Jill Dando, Mr. George?
No, sir.
The inside pocket of your coat has been found to have a trace of percussion primer discharge residue. Did you kill Jill Dando, Mr. George?
No, sir.
How do you explain the firearms residue in your coat pocket, Mr. George? The coat pocket, the 3/4 length coat that you may have been wearing on the day that Jill Dando was killed. How do you explain that?
I can't explain. I have no knowledge about being even there.
Of course you haven't. But how did it get there, Mr. George?
I have no idea, sir.